Hello, hello. Today we have a beautiful interview with Ashley Hearon-Smith. A little bit about Ashley. She has been called a lot of things, but her favorite is a triple threat. She's an actor, producer, and host of many things, including Lifestyled on QVC, HSN. Ashley is an amazing individual with so much skill set, and she gives us a really raw inside look of what media industry is, how she got to where she's been. So without further ado, enjoy this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So, Ashley, you have worn so many hats: actor, producer, host, and more. Which of those titles do you feel more at home in, and how did you land in the world of entertainment?
I think I feel most at home in the hosting hat, I guess is the best way to say that. But I really do feel at home in all of it. I feel, a lot of times when people ask me what I do for a living now, because I am on an actual show, I feel confident in saying I'm a host. But before
Yeah.
that, I never knew what to say or how to answer that question, so much so that my husband would notice and make note and be like, "Why do you have such a hard time explaining what you do?"
Hmm.
And I think it's because I don't we're forced to put one title on ourselves, but in all honesty, I feel like I'm all encompassing an artist. And no, I don't paint, and I'm not a sculptor, or I don't create art with my hands
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'm, creating Instagram videos and
It
hosting a
isn't
show on
hard.
QVC. I mean, yes and no, right? Like, am I changing the
Mhm.
world by creating fashion content? Probably not. But
Helping the women. Go ahead.
I'm being creative, and that,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is what an artist is, even if it's just creativity of the mind and it doesn't necessarily come out in some tangible way. And that's where I feel at home.
Yeah, honestly, Ashley, I can relate a lot. So, in my entrepreneurship, I'm only 5 years old via entrepreneurship, still a baby.
Well,
And
congrats. 5 years is not nothing.
yeah, thank you. We've learned and grown so much. And so, growing up, my mom is like a natural artist. She's very good at drawing and all the things. And I remember taking home school projects and feeling like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not an artist,
Yeah.
And having my mom help me a lot. And then when I became an entrepreneur, I was then learning that I am creative.
Yeah.
We're creating programs, and even like Instagram, for us, it's like a for me in the business that we run, it's like a fancy resume. It's like if you find me on Instagram, you can kind of
100%.
like see what I'm about, virtually. So anywho, but I find a lot of value in my writing, and like even the captions that I write, that to me is art. It's just in a
Yeah.
different way, right? My emails, even the ideas that I have for like the recent we spoke about on in the DMs of how like in the future I would love to be part of the entertainment world, because I am learning now through my entrepreneurship that I love seeing and marketing, and I feel like the eye of TV and media and like what parts you want to zoom in on and how you want to transition, and like those things excite me. And
Yeah.
that is art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Storytelling.
I feel like art is anything that requires creativity. And even like a producer, a lot of times people would think like, oh, the producer is the money person in some instances. In other instances, they're just the person that like makes sure everything rolls like a well-oiled machine. But also being a producer is problem solving, thinking outside of the box, coming up with a solution. How do you
Mm,
tell a story? And that is creativity. So
yeah.
for me, all of those things, even booking, which is another part of the process that I do, like that is an artist. You
Yeah.
are creating a story, you're
A
creating
story.
something.
Yes, yes, yes. One of my previous mentors, two of them actually, were in the TV world, and they were, like teaching me, guiding me how to pitch myself to like production companies. And I am like one of the emails out of hundreds, thousands, I'm sure, right? And so it was even in like the tagline of like, what can you offer them? What makes you stand out? And for someone receiving all those things, I can only imagine it's like, okay, if I have this vision, or I have to create this vision, we have to curate individuals for the interviews or for whatever that's going to align with this. And that too is a skill set. So
Absolutely.
I love all this stuff. Okay, so you began your career behind the camera, and then so now you're transitioning more to the front.
Yes.
Was there a specific moment when you knew that it was your time? How did that happen for you?
So I was a performer from the moment I came out and entered this world. Truly. I've known what I've wanted to do since I was a little girl. And so when it came time to go to college, my parents were like, "Look, you can't go for acting. You need to have a fallback," which they now have said that they regret. I'm very glad that they made that decision because I think I'm a
Mhm.
lot more well-rounded of an artist,
Yeah.
and I would not have had that had I just gone into it for acting. So my fallback was, okay, well, let me go into production. And so I started interning at the Martha Stewart show when she had her daytime talk show. And I just fell in love with production and the fast pacedness of live television and what goes into it. And like having President Bill Clinton as a guest and having to like bang on the window of a limousine and being like, "We gotta go, this is a live show, you gotta get up there." So I really fell in love with that. But it was about 5 years into all of that that I was like, what am I doing? This is like, I didn't want to cater to these people, I wanted to be these people. So
Mm.
I quit television production and I was like, I'm just gonna start going at this full force. And that's really how it kind of the transition happened. I just felt like I'm letting my fear stop me. At that point, I was so deep in. And then I remember someone was like, "Oh, come do a play." Someone I knew. And I went back and did the play. And I just felt like, and it wasn't even a good play. It was a terrible play, to be completely honest. But it just felt so good to be performing again. And I
Mm.
think that's where I was like, yeah, I've got to really pursue the thing I want to pursue.
Yeah, I love that. Did you find that it was easier to transition because you were already behind the scenes, like you had more opportunities to do so?
No, not really. Like my working in production didn't get me anything at that time. In fact, for many, many years, it's not until now that I'm seeing all like almost 20 years later that I'm seeing
Mm.
those connections pay off in different ways. It's not through
Sure.
roles necessary, just, this person connects you with
Networking.
that person or what exactly. So no, it didn't actually help. Felt like I in fact had to start from scratch.
Mm.
Yeah, I had a lot of school plays and regional theater, but that was really it. I
Mm.
really had to start from scratch with everything.
So and what did you go to school for? Just out of curiosity.
Communications with a focus in film and television and digital production,
Okay. Okay. So,
or
yeah.
digital media, rather. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I love talking to humans. Like, we're just so like multifaceted beings, and we all have a diverse background. And I believe, like you were saying earlier, it's all to our benefit. All the things that we've learned, every single job, even if it has nothing to do with what you're doing now, it's a skill set that you learned
Totally.
and hopefully mastered if you did it a lot of times. Like my first job was working at a deli, and
I've
I
done that.
learned so much there,
Yep.
and so you're happy you went to school, you had a big pivot. Um, from the outside looking in, which is why I asked, it would seem like it would be an easy transition. So thank you for knocking that
Yeah,
out.
no.
And so, like, I work with so many individuals who are pivoting into entrepreneurship, whether it's in the same field that they're already in or something completely different. And it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Absolutely. And, I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I will give myself this pat on the back is I am more courageous than I tend to give myself credit for.
Yeah.
And I absolutely agree with you and credit anybody who is changing their career path. I mean, I think. Listen, we're all citizens of this world. We know what's happening around us. It is not exactly the safest world to feel okay making those transitions, right?
Yeah.
But people do it all the time. And look, I'm not recommending anybody
No,
leaves
it's
a
tough.
stable job and goes into what I do because
Yes.
money is crap.
Yeah.
Like it really takes a lot. But if
Yeah.
you are prepared to work your ass off and you can accept rejection,
Yep.
like because that's
Yep.
a big part of entrepreneurship,
Yep.
whatever that is rejection. You're
Yes.
good. And
Yeah.
people's knows like that part of you where you start to learn, and that took me a while too, and I'm still working on it. That part of you that can take a no and not let it destroy you. That is a part of you that you should like hold up and praise and like give her a big old hug because she is something, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 1000%. So I would love to hear your take on this because you mentioned pivoting is courageous. It is hard, especially in our day and age where many fields are experiencing a lot of layoffs. Things are getting more expensive. Like nothing feels secure anymore. And
No,
so,
nothing.
nothing. And so, my take, this is my personal view on entrepreneurship or just betting on yourself. I feel that it would have to happen in any arena that you go in. And so I am the same with you. I'm like, do not quit your 9 to 5s. Like, don't
Totally.
do that. Some people do. Some people do. And they take the leap of faith and all the
Right.
things. And that's fine. And that is fine. Right. I think everybody has their own journey. But when
But you
you
don't
are,
have to. Yeah,
yeah, you don't
you
have
don't have to go that
to.
route.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. When you are full throttle in something, because you mentioned like you have to work your ass off. And I concur 1000%. And it's also my perspective, and I wonder if you have similar viewpoints, is that when you're working that hard, for me, it's almost like liberating. Like, don't get me wrong, I am working hard, but I am so passionate about what I'm working towards and and who I'm working with that it's such a catch 2020. It doesn't feel like work. I am up all night. My brain is always going as an entrepreneur. I'm always thinking about I can collab with this person, I can collab with this person. Like the brain is nonstop talking, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I wonder if your world of media, I'm sure it's very, very different from what I do. And I wonder if those stressors, if you feel the same way when you're chasing your dreams.
Yeah, so as you were saying it, I was like, I don't know if I could say all that. It's a mixed bag for me, and there's reasons for it. The first being I've been at this for 20 years, right?
Okay.
And I have been a self-starter for so much of it. And a self-starter before everyone was making a web series, I was making a web series. Before everyone
Mm,
had a podcast, we had a podcast. You know,
mm,
it has been out of those 20 years, like 10 of them, if not more, has been me creating my own work, learning how to do every single facet of everything, reinventing myself with whatever the technology or social platform or whatever it is to
mm.
get me seen. So I'm kind of at the point where I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I just want somebody to see my Instagram and go, she's fantastic. Let's give her a morning show.
Mm,
That's not how it happens. And I still have to do all that. And I'm doing it on a daily basis with my Instagram because, like you said earlier, it's like my online portfolio, right? It's a
yeah.
way that you are discoverable. It's a way for
Yep.
somebody to see what you're capable of, what your skills are,
Yes.
what your niche is.
Yeah.
But I am tired. I gotta
Mm,
tell you, I am happy. I
yeah.
am, and this is something for you being a therapist because I myself go to therapy. My mood, my outlook is very dependent on
Mm,
what's
I get that.
going on in my career. Like, I
Mm.
think
Me too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
me
my
too.
career affects my mood more than anything at this point. Like, it is more than,
Mm,
and when I say mood, I mean not just like
like
fluctu
self-esteem.
yeah, like
Hmm.
it's like deeper than just a mood. It's like a
Yeah.
period of time
Yeah.
that affects me, I would say, more than fighting with my husband because I know we're solid, or things like that.
Mm,
Like, it really does affect how I feel about myself, my ego, my self-esteem
yeah.
more than anything at this point. So, no, I'm sorry to disagree with you. It's
That's
just,
fine. I love
you
that.
know, I'm
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I want, candidness, because I can imagine, right? 20 years in, you've done this rodeo for so long. And in the world of entrepreneurship, and for like me, mindset coach, therapy, the world of like healing and all that stuff, but still, that's just a skill set but I'm still performing that skill set,
Yeah.
storytelling skill set on different media platforms, right? And even though, I'm super small right now, I still have to keep up with like, okay, Instagram doesn't allow this anymore. So how can we pivot to have more views?
It's
Right.
so
Or
much.
it's always a pivot. And
I know.
even like right now, our biggest issue is email marketing because Gmail and AI is putting everything into spam. It is so annoying. And so,
I
like
know.
little things like that, they're just regular problems of business, and you have to pivot. And so then I'm thinking of like you set up the producer, that's what they're doing, pivoting after every little fire, right? And
And not only that, they're planning ahead for should this fire arise, what is our plan? It's like a real life game of chess,
yeah, yeah,
which we
yeah,
all do too, right? Like we're
yeah,
all naturally producers of our own lives,
yeah, yeah.
especially women. Yeah.
So we juggle a lot. Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
so to bring kids into the mix, all of that. I was just helping a client yesterday who didn't know the powers of AI, of ChatGPT. And I was like, you can just tell ChatGPT to do this. Like we did her whole schedule of like a summer camp, her two kiddos, when to pick up, when to drop off. Like they know locations. Like you just make your life easier. But
Yep.
anywho, yeah, you're seasoned. You are beautifully seasoned. And like you're saying, like, yeah, I'm beautifully exhausted. I love what I do, and I'm at the point where it's like I wish it could just be easier.
Yeah. And also, one more point about that, I don't know how many other industries are like this. I suspect not many. But the other thing is, like in entertainment, when you're doing stuff, when you're being a self starter, when you're creating your own work, marketing it, and all of that to get it out there, it's like podcasting, right? You're not getting paid.
No.
Very often, you are not getting paid. So you are doing so much work, a
Yeah.
day job's worth of
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
And that, I'm like, can I get paid? Can somebody pay me, please? And I'm finally getting to that point, thank
Yeah.
God. But like, that's part of where I'm like, geez, how much longer can I do this and not get
Mm.
paid?
You know what I just thought about? I would imagine that in different industries like the entertainment one, the longevity of not getting paid might be longer for a bigger payout at the end.
Yes, totally. And I think I've thought a lot about this. I believe that's why they structure things the way they do. It's messed up, but I do think that's
Mm.
why it's structured the way it is.
Yeah, a lot of free work, a lot of hustle.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, um, we kind of already touching on this, but is there anything that most people don't know about the world of media that you would like to bring to light? Like what it's like hosting celebrities and doing interviews like that? Like it seems flashy and fun, but what does it look like on the inside?
So I'm going to be honest, for me, it is flashy and fun. Like it still is. This is
Exciting.
why I love this industry, right?
Yeah,
It's fun. And there's something about feeling like an insider and, to
yeah.
have real talk with a therapist here. I don't know if what kind of validation that's giving me deep
Yeah.
down
I
inside,
want to talk about that too. Yeah.
but there are people that don't need that. It doesn't do anything for them. For me, it's fun. It's like being on a ride. What was the question? I forgot. You got
It's
so
okay.
sidetracked.
It was more so about like what do people not know, and if it
Oh,
is, hot and flashy, and if there's anything else behind the scenes that people just wouldn't understand or know.
so a few things to that. One, my husband is also in entertainment. He's a music supervisor.
Okay.
His career is further along than mine is. He worked on Honora, which won multiple Oscars this year,
Okay.
And the thing that we both tell people that want to go into this industry is it is going to take a lot longer than you think it's going to take. And with that, if you have interest in having a partner,
Mm.
make sure to find a partner that
Understand.
wholeheartedly believes in you
Mm. Hmm.
and is supportive,
Yeah.
because you're at no point in either of our careers. We'll be married 10 years in October. We've been together 14, 15.
Congratulations.
Thank you. At no point have I questioned his ability to make it in this industry. At no point when we were first dating did I say like, hey, it's a good idea to have a backup job. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But at no point have I questioned his ability to make it. And at no point has he questioned mine. And when we have doubted ourselves, the other person has been there to be like, no, you got this. You're the
Mhm.
best at this that I know. You
Aw.
can do this.
Mm.
Those two things hand in hand
Yeah.
are incredibly helpful, and also therapy.
Yes.
But also I guess another thing that people may not know about the industry. We've all heard it's not what you know, it's who you know. absolutely a huge part of it,
Same.
unfortunately. And also, yeah, there are predators, but there are also non-predators. There are also people like me and my husband who just want to go to work and make a living in the industry that we love. You have to just be as smart and savvy in this industry as you do anywhere else in life. Like people in
Mhm.
finance deal with
Absolutely.
predators too, dentists, everybody.
Everywhere.
Mhm.
So, bringing in the therapy lens of all of this, so I
Yep.
concur with you. Even though I'm a therapist, I am still human. And I too get quote unquote like buzzed or high off of like the work that I do. I love what I do. And
Yeah.
opportunities, like it gives me a fire within. And yeah, me too. Being super conscious, I'm like, I question, I'm like, does this attach to my worthiness? Yes, yes. I'm not afraid to say that,
Yep.
like it is for me. It brings me pride and joy and happiness. And yes, I have
And
been down
validation,
the
at least
validation.
for me. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. You bringing in like marital relationships or just any relationship, my husband has been by my side from the beginning. We've been together for 10 years now, 5 years married.
Wow. Congrats.
And thank you. And he was with me when I birthed this career of, being on my own. And for me, it was at the beginning of 2020. So it was hot and flashy. Everyone had gone to the virtual world. It was easy, to be frank. Like I transitioned from being a traditional therapist to an online coach fairly simply.
That's great.
It was great, but it didn't last, and so it was a world where I was thrown in, and it was still a risk, and I'm proud of myself for taking it, because I remember my business coach at that time. She was a great motivator and just like wind beneath your wings kind of woman, and she was like, this is a time to do it. And I'm like, everyone is broke, everyone's home, like no one can pay for these services, like. And it was a complete opposite. Then we had stimulus checks, so that's why in the online world of like coaching, it kind of boomed in 2020. And then everybody went back to work in 2022, and slowly but surely. And then the online world wasn't as like buzzing anymore. And a lot of
Mm.
coaches in my arena or field of work either had to go back to a 9 to 5 or just completely stop their coaching career. And I'm really happy to say that, we stuck it out. Here we are 3 years later, past that point. But there were many low moments of like, can I pay my bills the next month? I don't know. Are we
Yep.
going to get so for me in turn, and I want to talk to you about sales, like the sales hat and like marketing hat that we have to do. We're promoting ourselves, right? When I would have like, high ticket days where people were buying, I would feel so good and safe, right? It would have a feeling of safety that money's coming in. And then the months that money was low, it was like, oh my God, am I not good at this? I can't do this. So
Yep.
I completely understand all of that and the importance of someone like a supporter like my husband, who was there in my ear saying, I believe in you. You are great at what you do. Let's keep going,
Yep.
right? When our backs were up against a wall. For me, that's love, that is commitment, that is you sharing the vision and not giving up on who I am and who I see myself to be, even when I don't believe that for myself.
That's truly sharing your life with somebody. And that's the point of marriage. I think people twist what marriage is to suit their religious beliefs, their political beliefs, whatever it is. But really, at the end of the day, a marriage is sharing your life with another human being and
Yeah.
trusting that you will both are committed to fixing things, to supporting each other, to growth together. That's marriage.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. I
Doesn't
agree.
matter the sex, the gender, none of that matters. None of
Correct.
it matters.
Yeah. Okay. So sales, right?
Yes.
My husband was recently he's a 9 to 5er, and he's also growing a marketplace app, so he has that growing on the side. And same thing, I'm like now the wind beneath his wings of like, you can do this, come on, keep going kind of thing. And he was recently thinking about switching careers into a sales position. And it was only when I was reviewing like the paperwork that he was going through that it's like, how did I not realize this? But like, I am a salesperson through and through, right? Like, I have to market my ideas. I have to put it out. I have to test it, see who likes and who bites and who doesn't. And then also be okay with rejection. One of his interview questions was, how well do you deal with rejection? All the time. It
Yep.
happens all the time. Right. So, what is your experience with that? Has your resiliency maybe thickened because of the industry that you are in? And what advice maybe do you have for others?
Uh, yeah, my resiliency has definitely thickened. I get told no or just ghosted and hear nothing
Yeah.
constantly. It is a part of my job description. And, I remember being a young little actor in my 20s in New York and doing these classes. You pay to take a class with like some industry professional, whether it's a casting agent or an agent or whatever it is. And I remember going into one, and it was a woman, and I brought her my headshot, and she looked at me and she goes, "You just have too much hair." And my entire life, let me tell you, people have been like, "You have the best head of hair." So much, like, my hair has always been a thing, so much so I go get a haircut, and if it's a new person, I'm apologizing. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I know I have a lot of hair." This woman just took everything that I was presenting and brought it down
Mm,
to, "You have too much hair." And I think that was the first time that I can think of where I was just like, it's coming down to that? Like,
mm,
this is the thing? I have too much hair? A thing everyone else has said is a positive my whole life? This lady thinks is a negative? So that like rocked me, right? Like, on one hand, it's not really an insult. It's not anything. It's not like you're ugly. It's just you have too much hair.
mhm,
So that just leaves you feeling weird. And on
mhm.
top of it, it's this thing that people have always said was like a strength of
Yeah.
mine.
Mm.
And this woman just totally twisted it and made it a negative. So on one hand, I was bummed. And on the other hand, I was like, so this is what this is about. Now, I mean, I've gone up from there. It was like, $200 jobs. Now I'm going out for full time positions that I
Yeah.
want. I want that job security. Again, the money thing, the just having a structure in my day, like those little things.
Yeah.
The same thing happens now, and I'm just like, okay, it wasn't
Mhm.
meant to be. And that really is, I have belief in something larger than me, and I do believe that things play out. I don't
Yes.
know. And I feel weird saying that because, again,
Same.
there's a lot of sadness and hardship in the world right now. And I'm sure a lot of those people believe in God too. And it's hard to justify things that are happening
Yeah.
and say it's God's will or
Yeah.
something larger than us's will. But for
Yeah.
the most part, I do generally feel that way. And so I just think if it's meant to be for me, it will be.
Yeah.
That's not always comforting. Sometimes it's still sad, but it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. So I too, like I always say, like I grew up Catholic, and but in my later years, I've just been more just spiritual. I'm not really religion
Same.
based, and yeah, there are plenty of horrible things that are happening in the world. I'm not. We're not going to switch topics there. My little insight there, my opinion is that like we know too much. There was as a therapist, I have worked in so many different arenas. I've worked with drug and alcohol abuse patients in hospitals. I've worked with children with DS, what is it called? DSS?
Mm.
CPS, sorry, CPS. I've worked
Ugh.
in people's homes. Like I have seen the worst of the worst in the beginning of my therapeutic career. And I was privy to a lot of crap that not everyday people would ever know
I can't
about.
even imagine. Yeah,
You
I
know what I
can't
mean?
even imagine that.
And so for me, now that like media is what it is now and we have access to everybody's everything, it's like,
And
yeah,
every thought.
and every thought,
Yeah.
we are over inundated with information about bad things mostly, right? And I guess good things if you curate your feed to those things, but it's hard to not see the bad things. And I'm not saying that it makes it any less important. It's just that as a human being, we were not, I don't believe we were designed to know all of the things. It's too
I
much.
don't think you're wrong. I mean, I'll tell you, Nancy, my therapist,
Mhm. Shout out to Nancy.
it's shout out to Nancy, love her to death. I don't want to shock anyone. I have control issues. And so one of the things she has really helped me with through all of this and, just everything in my life is like, you're just trying to control the situation.
Hmm.
And I bring that up to say, like, yeah, I agree. I mean, on one hand, it's great that we have this much access to things, right? But because of that, it makes you so aware, and it's like this desperation to control the world around you.
Yeah.
And so that's, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. So we,
Oh, I didn't answer your question about marketing.
yeah, that's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, in terms of marketing, I would say my biggest advantage has been I have taught myself how to do everything. I have taught myself how to do everything. I can build my website, I can do graphic
Mm,
design, I can do my media kits, I can do uh edit Instagram posts, I can edit sponsored content, I can write, I have taught, yes, some of it I have learned through experience on the job in
yeah.
college, but a lot of it I have just taught myself. And I think that is not exclusive to people in my industry. That is now everybody. I don't want to say that. It helps
Hmm.
to know how to do everything when it comes to marketing
Yeah.
because A, it keeps your costs low. B, we're just in an area, we're in a time where technology is so incredible. Like what we were talking about before, this
Yes.
platform like can help you by making clips of the
Yeah.
podcast. Like take advantage of, I pay for Chat GPT every month.
Me
I don't
too.
even have the free
20
one
bucks,
because
20 bucks a month.
yes,
It's a
yes.
well-worthy investment. It's my another assistant in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Because now people come to me to manage social media, and I'm not great at managing other people's. I have a hard time, but I do my dad's. I'll make straight up graphics on ChatGPT and then post it to Instagram. Like, there,
Canva has everything has AI now.
uh, Canva is I am on Canva 3 to 4 times a day. It is my everything.
Mhm.
So, I used to think, oh, I regret I didn't like learn graphic design. Well, who needs it? We have Canva.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So learn everything. Teach yourself. YouTube is incredible. There are paid courses if you need them. There are coaches out there that will teach you things.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about this industry that I truly believe in. And I believe this in all industries. Invest in yourself.
Yes. Oh my
Through
goodness.
coaches. Coaches
Yes.
are something about the cosmic order of life. When you invest in yourself, it comes back every time.
I believe that wholeheartedly. For me, so in my brain, I tend to like see everything as the same, and I'm going to try to explain what I mean by that. So like religions across many different faiths, I believe it's a similar intention to be the person that you can be. And yeah, sure, you're following certain ideologies, but it's to be a good human being, right? To have
Mm-hmm.
faith, to believe in something greater than self. In the world of therapy, one of our like introduction questions when we're first meeting a client is, do you have faith or religion that you stand on or believe in? Because that alone will tell us when things get hard, like what support system do you have in person and in the spiritual realm, right? No matter what faith you're a part of, because that's
Yeah.
important, right?
Yeah.
And so your inner belief, kind of like an inner compass that like you believe that there is a higher power or God's plan. Yeah, I don't want. Some people might say that like, oh, that's like living in La La Land. Honestly, whether it is living La La Land or not, it helps. It helps.
Yeah, like I don't really care at this point. Let me live in La La Land.
Yeah,
If it makes
and
me feel better and I'm
yes,
not hurting myself,
yeah,
what does it
correct.
matter?
Correct. Placebo effects are real, right? Like for me, like
Totally.
nothing, like everything is everything. And so when we're talking about belief and investing in yourself, for me, like for example, prayer, right? When certain religions come in prayer, you have a really strong intention in mind, right? You gather your community. If like somebody passes or there's a disaster, you gather the community and you pray in unison, because the thought there is that if we all come together, God, source, higher power will hear our message. It's the same thing when people might hate me
Absolutely.
for this, when you think about like witchcraft, there were women coming together to have an intention on something. Like it's all the same. So
Plus, I'm sorry, go ahead,
no, go ahead.
please.
There you go.
No, 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 you continue.
Okay, okay,
I'll remember my thought.
okay. I'm bad at that, so thank you for letting me do that.
I am
um,
too, usually.
my brain goes everywhere. But yeah, so that for me, it's all the same. And so when you talk about investing in yourself, it's the act of courage, because in the coaching industry, it's usually high ticket, just going to be frank. It's usually high ticket, and high ticket meaning like five figures, right? Sometimes, depending on like how long. So like 10K or more. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it depends for how long you're going to be with somebody for, but yes, it is like that, you know? And so,
Nice. I went into the wrong field.
I mean, it doesn't, well, It's not all, my, if you want to be
I
just
know,
super,
I know, I know.
my funnel goes anywhere from somebody paying $66 a month. That's my lowest offer, or a class for like $35, all the way up to, yes, 15 grand. Those are much larger
Of
contracts.
course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, that being said, me, when I was a newbie, even now, still investing in myself, to me, it's a really big intention of I'm betting on myself. If I'm going to pay for someone to lead me down a path where I hope they get me from point A to point B at a faster speed, that's the whole point of hiring a coach, in my opinion. Learn, do what I did in a shorter amount of time. Then you are
Yep.
also saying, I believe in me to make this happen too.
So this is what I was going to say. There is a study that came out that, and maybe you would know more about this than I do, but that basically proved that, in a sense, manifestation works because
It does.
there's, basically the multiverse. We live in, time is not actually linear, it's
Correct.
circular. And we choose subconsciously or consciously, like, what our life is. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
am not a scientist. I am not
No,
a
that is
therapist. I don't understand the synapses, so I don't know if I explain that well.
no. So spirituality and the world of manifestation, woo talk, it is backed by science. There's
Yeah,
data
quantum
and
physics,
research. Yeah,
right?
quantum
Yeah.
physics.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly believe that. I in the past couple of years have do this like manifestation ritual on the in December. It's like a Nordic tradition. I am
Yeah.
not Nordic in any way, but I just like things like that. And my mom's side is Hispanic, we're Cuban.
Okay.
And for my mom, brujeria is a very scary thing. It's not I get it, right?
Yeah.
So I did it live on Instagram because people had been asking me about it. And
Wow.
I believe that's how things started to happen. That's part of the things of how it started to happen with QVC.
Okay.
My mom was so upset and was like, "You're doing witchcraft. You don't need to be doing stuff like that." And I'm like, "No, I am just
Mm,
making my mind. I am like, I don't want to use the word manipulating, but like, I am like
influencing.
teaching my mind, yeah, influencing my mind
Hmm.
to pick a certain path.
Yes.
That's all I'm trying to do."
Yeah.
But it started with that. And then I was like, you know what? I am going to spend 5 digits on a coach for
Hmm.
myself for
Hmm.
hosting because I'm doing these things. I don't know how to get more work. I don't have representation. I found an excellent coach. I invested in myself and I made it to the QVC callbacks. I was one of 13 people out of 12,000 that submitted. I made it to the 2-day callback. I did not end up getting that job, but I
Okay.
ended up getting, which would have meant relocating me and my whole family, selling our house, changing schools for my son, this whole thing, moving to away from an area I do like.
Hmm. Hmm.
It would have meant a huge life change. My husband goes into the office in the city 2 days a week. We live right outside, so moving 2 hours away would really affect him.
Sure.
I didn't end up getting the full-time position. I ended up getting a part-time thing. I host a show on their streaming platform, and this just reinforces everything. It reinforces things work out the way I want them to, or
Yes.
they're meant to.
Yes.
Investing in yourself is manifestation.
Yeah.
It is picking your path. Manifestation really does help. I mean, in the past 2 years, so fully believe all of that. And I also believe that having your head as straight as possible through therapy and SSRIs, if you need them, I'm on SSRIs, you do it.
Yes.
Whatever you need to
Yes.
create the healthy workspace in here.
Yep. 1000%. We, like human evolution, we are not the same beings that we
No.
were hundreds of years ago. We're computing so much data on an everyday basis. Like, what part of, me having to be on Instagram and posting stuff, like, love it and hate it, to be frank, because
Oh, amen, sister.
I can't answer a DM without getting lost in something, you know? And so even when I look on like TikTok or Instagram on just like the home feed where like you can have 9 boxes and there's multiple videos playing, I'm like, what mindfuckery is that? Like I am looking at one screen, 9 different forms of content, and I'm there being choosy and picky after which one deserves my attention. And then maybe I'll click into it. It's wild, right?
Can
So
you read a book anymore? Because I can barely even, I don't have the attention
no
span. I had
audiobook.
to start a book club. I started a book club so that I would start reading and be accountable.
Yeah,
Because
that's good.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
computing so much that I just don't have the attention span
No,
anymore.
no, no, nobody does, honestly. So, yes, get a therapist, get a coach, do whatever it is that you need to do to, like you said, have your head on straight because there's so much noise in this world. And if you are going down the path of manifestation, prayer, whatever, it's a focus, it's a one eye
Yep.
view of what you want, and you're going to put all of your attention there. More fuel will gather towards towards that goal, and that is the whole point of it.
Will hold coaches forever. Working with coaches has changed my career. It has changed my life. Even now, I still go back to that coach when I need something, when I need a little like touch base.
Yeah.
I've done that. I
Mhm.
have a social media coach I work with every single month. Coaches are so important. They are pivotal, and I know I am a bootstrapper in every way. I told you the importance of learning everything, but if there is one place to spend your money, it is in a coach. And I want you to be very cautious about your coach. Don't just pick somebody willy-nilly. Do
Yeah,
your research.
for sure.
Talk cold DM somebody who's worked with the coach and say, "Hey, I'd love your honest opinion."
Yeah,
Like do your research because money is, it is money. It's important. I get it.
yeah,
And it's scary to spend that. But that something about that really does manifest other things.
yeah, yeah. I will say, like, with in my experience working with therapists and coaches, coaches have really allowed me to the pop culture thing to say is like transcend time or collapse time, but I mean, that's what a mentor is, right? It's like you
Absolutely.
would hope to get from point A to point B faster than how they got there. Let me give you the keys to the kingdom, as you know.
Yep. Yep.
So, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with all this. I think we've had a beautiful conversation.
We have. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I want to shed some light on or give you an opportunity to be even, you've been vulnerable, but even more vulnerable if you will allow us to get there. I think listeners and viewers watching this or hearing this conversation, I would hope that you are inspired with a dose of reality of like the hard work that it's taken to get to where you're at, Ashley. And that like social media has such a funny way of making things seem like it's instant and it is not,
Yeah.
right? It is so not.
Yeah.
But all that being said, is there anything that you would like to share with us that you are currently facing or battling, whether it be personal, career, marriage, motherhood, anything that you would be comfortable in sharing with us today?
Yeah, I think we live in a really hard, scary world. And I think it's harder and scarier than I don't know. I say that it's ever been. And my husband says people have gone through things forever. And then, there's this whole theory. I don't know what it's called, but basically, like every 20 years, a century is segmented into, no, that wouldn't be right, would it? 20, 40, 60, 80. Yeah, every 80 years is segmented into 20 years, right? And there's 4 segments. And it's like, a time of rebirth, then a time of like
Mm.
having so much money and everything being great. And then the next period is like, oh, some changes are happening. And then the next period is like, French Revolution, baby. And we are in that French Revolution area. And I
Mm.
think it's just really hard to be a mentally and emotionally and spiritually healthy person right now because either you're turning a blind eye to the atrocities that are happening or
Yep.
you are all consumed.
Yep.
There doesn't seem to be a middle ground. And I think it's hard to be functioning. I think it's really hard to be a parent.
Yes.
Uh,
Mm.
it's really hard to know what's okay to talk to your kids about and what's might just be putting fears in their head that they didn't already have, or what might be educating them and empowering them. It's just a really hard, scary time, and I wish we weren't going through. I wish every single person who is personally touched and struggling because of this didn't have to go through this. And I myself have found it very difficult to exist on Instagram during this time. And this is so stupid and really like not a big thing, but because this is therapy, I know I'm supposed to validate my own feelings.
Yes,
But, you know, it feels dumb to be making, like yesterday I posted like
I get it.
three things to do with a bandana. Like
Yeah, no, I get it. I can
it
relate.
feels frivolous and it
Yeah,
feels insensitive.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, it's people also trying to just live life normally as best
and
they can, get or more work the best that they can. It's
yeah,
like all these different things. It is just hard. It feels like no matter what any of us do, we're not doing it right. And it's just hard and it's scary and I hate it.
yeah. No,
That's my vulnerability for
yes.
you.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
candidness. I can relate to many things that you said, and it's tricky. I completely agree with like you're either super inundated in it, and that's so not healthy,
No.
right? Or you're turning a blind eye, and maybe we can call that avoidance, right?
Yeah, it feels it, and it also feels like you lack a little empathy and
Compassion.
compassion, you
Yes.
know? And that's
Yeah.
not good either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Grace is the name of the game here. I think we're all navigating new waters, literally. The people that are getting overly consumed by it, it's affecting your moods. It's causing a sense of like depression, sadness, despair, loss of hope. Those are all symptoms of depression. Right? I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I'm just saying like that's what happens, right?
Yep.
Anxiety, fear, right? Fear to do things, go places, all the things. And then the other side of the spectrum is avoidance, and I can have compassion even I have compassion for everybody. I was talking to my husband of like, our little family of four day to day, like we're also surviving our own little mini battles.
Absolutely. Like your own little microcosm, you have your own things going on.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like some days I'm just like, I only have capacity to keep my children alive, to keep them well, and to try to be the best mom that I can be. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think we're dealing with like the hive mindset of people who feel the need to tell you that you're doing something wrong constantly too. Like, you know, for example, I posted a scarf video on TikTok, something I post on Instagram. And again, you know, this is just growth. And also, this is my way of helping is by creating
Mhm.
a fun outlet for
I
people. And I've
agree. I
tried
wanted
to
to
say
mention
this.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we need escape, right?
We
And
need that
joy is
too.
resistance. So I'm trying to create that as well. And some girl comes on and says, like, she said something like, congratulations on not talking about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I said, sometimes
It is
people
what it
just
is.
need an escape.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, isn't that a privilege? And like, she's not wrong, but
Yeah.
also like,
I'm sure in her
listen,
life she has many privileges too.
exactly. But it's like on top of battling what's going on in your head, you
Yeah.
also are battling like other people telling you you're not doing enough or you're
Yeah.
doing too much. Because then I
Yeah.
also talk to other people who are like, you are giving all, my own therapist is like, you can't spend all your time thinking about these things. It's
Yeah.
just too much input and
Yeah.
too many uploads for human beings to handle, I think.
We'll end and wrap up this conversation with this. Something that I always tell everyone, my friends, clients, all of my students, when everyone's inner dialogue and how we communicate with other people is a direct reflection of where we are in our healing journey. So I think I'm blessed to be in the career that I'm in. I still have my struggles, but I also have the grand understanding that nothing is personal. Nothing. What people say, like those comments, those hate comments, like, sure, it might hurt, but if we really look at what's happening, that person is going through pain and she's projecting that pain, right? Interactions with friends, colleagues, people ghosting you, like it is all a reflection of where they're at in their
Yep.
world at that time. And it's never personal. Even just to give a more direct example, even cheating is often never personal, right? It's their inner issues coming up and showing out,
Yep.
right? And so people have a lot to say these days. Everybody has an opinion. Just remember,
And you're just not going to make everyone happy.
you're not.
That's It's a
And the thing.
really, yeah, and that's really challenging for people who maybe were responsible for parents' feelings as children and stuff like that. Like, it is a
Yeah.
lot to know that you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Ashley, so much. You've been so beautifully vulnerable. You've taught us so much and gave us a really good insight of what it's like to be in your shoes in the world of entertainment. So thank you so much for all of your juicy goodness.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
It was an honor. Where can people follow you, binge your content, or catch your next show?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, mostly Instagram though. It's at Ash Hearon-Smith, SHEARONSMITH. I create daily fashion content and just fun content on Instagram. And then my show Lifestyled airs every Wednesday on QVC HSN Plus. It's QVC's and HSN's streaming network. You can just download it wherever you get your Peacock, Hulu, etc.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ashley, so, so much. I know that our listeners gained so much from this conversation, and we will talk very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.